Hey everyone, it's Rose. Welcome back to my channel. I know I've been pretty inactive again, but I didn't have anything to film, so now I do have something to film. And today's video is going to be a recent reads video, so I'm just going to be talking about the books that I've read in the last 2 months, so from September through October. I'm going to be talking about 6 books. And the first one is The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. I'm not going to get like super in detail with my thoughts on this one because I did do like a reading vlog kind of video surrounding this book, and so all of my thoughts are in that video if you want to check that out. I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 3 stars. The next book that I read was The Other People by C.J. Tudor. This one is, I think it's a thriller, or it's just a mystery. It follows Gabe, who is driving home one night and he sees his daughter in the back seat of this beat up car that's driving in front of him. The police contact him and tell him that his wife and his daughter are dead. But like, how can his daughter be dead if he just saw her in the back of this car? So Gabe spends the next few years of his life looking for his daughter when everybody else is convinced that she's dead. This also follows a woman named Fran who's on the run with her daughter Alice. She knows what happened to Gabe's daughter, but if anybody ever found out that she knows or found out what happened, then like the people who did it are gonna find her and kill her. This book is told in alternating perspectives, but also it has like a non-linear timeline. So like one chapter you'll be in the present and then the next chapter you'll be in the past of somebody else's perspective, and like it's not clear where we're reading from until like you're a couple paragraphs into it, which I think that could be confusing for some people, but it wasn't like bad for me, I guess. This book is super fast-paced, and while it was very, very predictable, like it was still entertaining. I personally think that the ending was a little too like wrapped up nicely and happy, but yeah. So I gave this book 3 stars. I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read on my iPad. I read Holes by, I don't remember the author's name, but it's like, I think it's like middle grade. It was popular when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, which would have been like 11 years ago. But it is about a boy named Stanley who commits a crime. Like, he's a kid, but he commits a crime that sends him to this camp that's meant for character building. But it's out in the middle of freaking nowhere, and he's just going there to dig holes every single day for like a year and a half. Like, that's his punishment for this crime. After he's been there for a while, he realizes that, like, they're not digging holes just to build character. Like, the person in charge is looking for something. And so now he's keeping his eye peeled for this thing that they're searching for. I really, really enjoyed this one. I gave it 4 stars. I read it because a couple of my friends from work told me that I should read it. My one friend was very persuasive, so yeah, I read it like the day they told me to. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really liked the characters in the story, and like 2 characters that are friends and they like go through like something together, like that was heartwarming, I guess. The next book that I read was Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. This is a graphic novel. Like, the couple times that I've mentioned this on my channel, I realize now I got like the description for this book totally wrong. Like, not totally wrong, but like I messed up some of what I was saying. So here it is. It's about Josiah, but she calls him Josie, and Deja, who work at a pumpkin patch, like their annual like seasonal job, and this takes place on their last day of their last year working at this pumpkin patch together, because they're going to be graduating from high school and moving away and doing whatever they're going to do. Josiah is like kind of moping around, and so Deja is like, lighten up. They make their last day working together like this crazy adventure. Yeah, this was a very cute, very like fall vibes, like, obviously. The next book that I read was Horrid by Katrina Leno. I finally read 1 out of 17 of my Owl Crate books that I have. Yeah, I got this in September last year, and I finally read it. It's like a ghost story type of story. It's about Jane and her mom, who, like, Jane's dad just passed away, and so now her and her mom have to move back to Maine, to her mom's, like, hometown from when she was a kid, and they move into her grandma's mansion. Like, her grandma died, so, like, the mansion's just been chilling, but they move into her grandma's house. There's apparently, like, this creepy, like legend or, like, myth about this, like, creepy-ass house. Like, typical, nobody wants to go over there because that's that creepy house, you know? There is a room in this house that has been completely untouched for years, but it seems that somebody's been living in it. You know what I'm saying? That's not a spoiler, by the way. It's in the description. Before I talk about how much I didn't like this book, can we just look at this? Like, that's cool. First of all, I expected to like it, like, at least a little bit. So this was kind of a letdown. I gave it 2 stars. This, like, I did not feel the creepy vibes at all. There were some moments in this book where, like, the writing and, like, what was happening was just so cringy. Like, you could tell that this is YA. Also, this book just kind of dragged a little bit. Like, this book isn't very long. It's like 320-ish pages, I think. Like, it took almost half the book for anything, like, super interesting to happen. And I think because I was just basically waiting for it to be over, some parts were almost painful for me to read because I feel like they didn't need to be in this book. Like, it had nothing to do with it and it didn't need to be there, and it was just making it worse. I will say, though, the only redeeming quality about this book was that twisted ass ending. I wouldn't say that the ending was worth it, but it wasn't disappointing. So the last book that I have to talk about, I read on my iPad. I read Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This one is a romance. This one follows Hannah, who moves back to Los Angeles, and, like, the night that she moves back there, she goes to a party with her best friend. These are not spoilers, by the way. But at this party, she runs into an ex-boyfriend. And so at the end of this party, she has to make a choice if she's gonna go home with her best friend or if she's gonna go home with her ex-boyfriend. And so the book is told in alternating universes, I guess, following how her life would turn out based upon, like, which choice she makes. So like I said, it's a romance. It has, like, that second chance romance trope. I know some people don't really like that one, but it also has, like, kind of an insta-love romance trope happening. I thought the story was very, like, thought-provoking in that it discusses, like fate and whether or not we have control over that. Not only was it a cute romance, but it also did make me think about my life in a different way. I don't know if I said this already, but I gave it 3 stars. One little, like, nitpicky thing that I have to say is that the main character's obsession with cinnamon rolls was kind of annoying. So those were all of the books that I've read recently. I am proud of myself because the last video I did, I talked about, like, all of these books I felt like I wanted to read this season, and I read 3 books off of that list of books. But yeah, that's all I have for today's video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you aren't already. You know the drill. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.